What we're dealing with here is a very unfortunate situation, one in which there's really no explanation as to why or how this type of thing occurs. It, however, has occurred on this car, and we could sit here and speculate as to why. Cheap primer choice, car lived outside its whole life, which is most definitely not the case, especially if you see the interior of this car. The reality is we're dealing with a situation here that needs to be rectified. The nice part about this is the vented cowl cover goes over this and covers up most of what I'm about to attempt to fix. But I wanted to just lay out for you the process in which I'm going to go about this. So I'm going to take all of the mechanical arms and everything out from the cowl area for the wipers. I'm going to remove all the screws and the clips and everything, the sprayer hose that comes through the firewall. We're going to remove all those, and then from that point it's really just labor. We're going to buff this all down, and we're going to blow in some white paint and see if we can't make this look more white and less orange.
I start out by removing all of the mechanical linkage for the windshield wiper arms. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video if you're interested in a more detailed explanation as to how this is all installed, which will help you uninstall it. I then move on to the push pins that hold the wiring harness in place and other various components from the firewall to the cowl area. I then remove the vacuum tree and the map sensor and the windshield wiper motor.
Before I drop the hood and start sanding my life away, I just thought I'd give you a quick look at this down and dirty mask job. I've essentially just put some masking tape over any of the holes that I introduced to this area by removing clips and screws and bolts and what have you. So, and this is a look at things with the wiper arm assembly out of there. It dawned on me that I didn't really give too many tips or tricks on how to get that all out when I was removing it because I was time lapsing, but stick around to the end. I'll show you how this all goes back together. So now I'm going to drop the hood. Well, maybe I'll just show you a quick little view of, so the harness clips, they're all pulled out, and yeah, sent to the vacuum tree and map sensor and all that stuff. Oh, and one more thing is you may have noticed during my time lapse that I was in there with a bit of a drill. I wasn't drilling anything, so this is what I was doing here. I've essentially got like a deburring bit on my 90-degree drill here, because for anyone that's ever had their hands down in the cowl here, you know that when Ford built these cars, they just stuffed like self-tapping screws through the firewall, and there's always leftover shrapnel behind here. I really did not want to drive my fingers into that while I'm sanding, so I just took that deburring bit and kind of went at the backside of these holes to knock some of that stuff off that could have been embedded into my fingers. So that was about the only other tip. So hood down, time to start sanding.
Nothing fancy here, just some good old-fashioned elbow grease with some medium-grade synthetic steel wool, followed by a shop vac and a quick compressed air blowdown. I then move on to masking. This is one of those steps that you just don't want to mess around with. Overspray is a killer, so take your time, make sure you prepare your area that you're about to spray correctly. Follow that all up with a quick wipe of some acetone and you're ready for paint.
While we wait for this to dry, as you can see, I've pulled the blankets off and all of my paper. I've also unmasked the firewall. I don't want to start putting this stuff back in there until this paint has had a real good chance to cure and dry. I think it turned out really, really good. Okay, our cowl resto is good to go. We are nice and dry, and this thing's had, well, a few days at this point to set in and do its thing. So I'm just going to go back to putting all of our various bits and pieces on the firewall back in place here. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not, but it is raining cats and dogs out here today. when it rains in Middle Tennessee, it is an impressive amount of water. I used to absolutely hate the rain because, not that I hated the experience of the rain, I actually quite like that. The part about the rain that I used to hate from where I moved from was, well, we get winter conditions up north, and the roads never ever seem to clear out no matter how much they get rained on in the spring, summer, and fall months. So you're constantly dealing with just disgustingly filthy vehicles every time it rains. I know this sounds kind of diva-ish, but those of you out there that like clean vehicles will know what I'm talking about when I say this type of stuff. It's a kind of a miserable existence to know that it's going to rain, and you got 2 hours tied into trying to clean up your daily driver or whatever. So this screw's probably the trickiest of the bunch that I'm going to have to get in here. I get another little extension. It's just a brake line screw that sits right behind the vacuum tree. Just kind of holds the hard lines up against the firewall. I really don't want to drop it. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Oh yeah, there we go. These screws through the firewall into the cowl always kind of make me laugh, because when you pull your cowl vent off and you just see how awful all of this was really done, it's like kind of like, every house has a junk drawer that everyone refuses to deal with. This is kind of what the backside in the cowl area of your firewall is like on these old Fox bodies. It's like, we'll just run screws through here, nobody will see any of that, because the cowl cover will be on it. Like these screws, these self-tappers that they use to hold this vacuum tree on. I mean, hell, these things would probably hold a 2-ton load on a flatbed. Like, they're proper big and long. No regard for finding a shorter screw to run in here. Okay, that's all those guys. Whoa. Get our harness pushed back in there. I did pull the hood to engine bay seal, or whatever they call this. I pulled this out too, just so we weren't splashing it with paint. For anyone that's replaced this on their car with one of the aftermarket replacements, you know how much fun they can be to put on. These original ones fit nicer. Way, way nicer. Actually, the fact that this one's in as good a shape as it is on this car is another reason why I think this car is such a low mile specimen. Or at the very least was stored inside and taken very, very good care of. Okay, what else did we have off of here? Obviously the wiper motor. Might just brush that off real quick. So he's not so much of a fight to get the arm on him. But, okay. Probably the biggest tip in all of this is how this whole driver's side arm, wiper arm, mounts. So we'll get to that in one sec here. Okay, what else are we missing here? It goes to the wiper. Okay, all this stuff's wiper related. So, actually, yeah, we'll maybe leave the sprayer. We'll hook him up last once we get the wiper arms and stuff in there. Right, so now we get all this stuff in here without banging up our wiper cowl. Nice and easy. Okay, got him. I can't really show you what's going on underneath there, but essentially there's two locating pins on either side of this drive gear. And, well, I'm gonna have to get my hand underneath there and hold them in place. And then we got this drop over deal. Just like a spacer and a washer. And then a decent sized nut. I actually can't remember what size this thing is, but all of this is hidden under a little bit of a rubber boot. This guy right here all comes over top of that. It is a 7/8 socket. And obviously this doesn't need to be like screaming tight, but you know, click, whatever that torque spec is. And then this little cap goes over top of that nut and hides the whole operation, which I think is probably the trickiest part of folks wondering how to get their wiper arms out. I'm getting this thing back on too. There we go. Yeah, they kind of lead you to believe when you're looking at this that it's whatever, not removable, but it is. Okay, and These screws are a T30 Torx bit that hold the other side of your, I guess, passenger side wiper in place. These ones are a little easier to figure out because the screws are exposed. Okay, and then finally, the drive end. Hopefully you guys can get a little bit of a decent view of what's going on in here, but this end of things has essentially a, try and play some Pictionary with you here, or charades. So almost an oval hole. It's a round hole with two flat spots on it. And that slides over the little drive stud from your wiper motor. You got to get yourself situated. I don't even know. Oh, there's my flat spots right there. It's kind of one of those deals where you got to hold your tongue in the right fashion to get everything lined up. And it is kind of a precision fit. There we go. And then this machine screw / bolt holds the whole works in place. Fine threads, so don't screw those up. These ratcheting box end wrenches are handy for stuff like this. Okay. And our sprayer. Nothing like a good old-fashioned sprayer. Let's leave that awful joke that I want to say alone right now. PG-13. You guys might not be able to see this, but essentially we're just plugging the hose into the plastic fitting. We're not dealing with high pressures here, so you don't need hose clamps or anything like that. Okay, and the final piece of this puzzle is a quick little blow. Drop on your wiper vent cover and you're off to the races.